I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that Jesus' words are A, not what you were expecting to hear this evening, and B, not perhaps the ones you wanted to hear. And if I'm being honest, me too. After all, this is the weekend where we start our fall year. Our children are back in Sunday school. The high schoolers will be gathering Sunday evening. The confirmands will have their first class on Wednesday. People are back from summer travels. The choirs will all be robed up and ready to go, and always looking for a few more singers. Here we are, and Jesus gives us a doozy. Real stinger of a message. Here it is again, in case you missed it. I want to repeat it. Now large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and he turned and said to them, "Whoever comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even life itself, cannot be my disciple." Wow. What was Jesus thinking? I wanted to see if perhaps I had missed something. Is this the same Jesus, the teacher and leader of my life? So I decided that I was going to conduct an experiment. And my experiment is this. I went to church websites, a bunch of them, right? Some near to us, some far away, a wide variety of churches. And I looked for a mission statement, a catchphrase, a pithy selling point about what their church is all about. Why do the people there follow Jesus? So for instance, here at St. Timothy, we say that we live the love of Christ. It's the last thing we say at each of our worship services. It's all over our website. It's our slogan. Come here to St. Timothy, we say, and you will learn what it means to live and love more fully as Jesus lived and loved. Well, here are some other churches and what they might say. One church I saw proudly announced right on their homepage that we are united and empowered to worship, connect, and serve. That's their pithy slogan. Another church, they said, we strive to be stewards of God's abundant love. Another boldly proclaimed, life is better in community. We are, said another church, together in Christ. There are more, but I'll stop there. They all kind of riff off the same themes of bettering your life, community, togetherness, love, service, worship. So I thought to myself, how interesting. Just what I suspected. My experiment revealed no church with the words we heard Jesus speak this evening on their website. No banner outside of their church with the words, "Come to First Lutheran and join us in dissing your parents and despising your family." No website that dared to read, "Here at St. Stephen's, we know that life is better when we hate those closest to us. Don't come and join us unless you really, really mean it." That would not make a good marketing campaign, I do not think. So what is Jesus getting at? What's going on? This made me think of something else. You ever have those ads on your phone or computer that either pop up out of nowhere or are plastered down the side of a Google search or a news website? If you like those targeted ads, you could call them. They're really good. And by really good, I mean they know you. They know me. There's some sort of algorithm or computer robot sitting somewhere who can figure out, based on what websites we go to, or our age, or where we live, or where we travel, what we want. It knows that Kendra and I are outdoors people, and so I get a lot of ads for camping gear or discounted travel deals to the Canadian Rockies. anonymous, let's say. These ads, they know that I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. And so this time of year, those secret advertisers are trying to sell me some Philadelphia Eagles hat or sweatshirt. It's sometimes kind of creepy, right? I swear there are times when I've mentioned something in a conversation, right, out loud with a friend, and the next day I have an advertisement of it. It's somewhere on the internet. The other one, I mentioned a certain type of teapot, of all things, that I thought was interesting. It's a cool teapot. And I don't think I come across as a teapot person, whatever that means to the powers that be, but lo and behold, the next time I go to a website, there it was, the exact same one that I was talking about. We've created a world that caters to each one of us and our unique particularities. There are a million television channels, so only watch what you want, right? You just want to see people bake cupcakes, you can just see people bake cupcakes. Music services will play the artists you like and others that sound exactly like that one. No need to broaden your horizon. Only hear the news with the slant you want to hear. Our lives these days are governed by our desires, our wants, what we think we need and like. To get it, it's sometimes as easy as the click of a button. That's what these ads are telling us. Click this button made just for you and you'll be happier. Click this button and you'll have what you think you need. It's easy. It's sitting right there. We'll even deliver to your doorstep and give you a return label for the inevitable moment when you realize that having another Eagles jersey isn't really what I wanted after all and doesn't make me any happier. Don't sit down and count the true cost of this item before you click it. Just go ahead. Don't think about what else you could do with your money. It's there if you want it. It's yours just the way you like it. St. Luke tells us today that there are great crowds clamoring after Jesus. He's become popular. Perhaps Jesus senses something is afoot. Perhaps he's worried that he's been misunderstood. These crowds may have confused Jesus' way with some of the other conventional, popular paths at the time, paths that catered to their perceived wants and needs. What these people thought was best. At that time, people thought that a Messiah like Jesus would come in and kick the Romans out of Jerusalem and reestablish the kingdom of David. But Jesus is not the Messiah they expected. Not the one they thought they needed. Jesus and his disciples are marching up to Jerusalem, yes, but it's not to overthrow Pontius Pilate. Instead, Jesus is going to lay down his life. And he wants the crowds to know that too. To really understand what the cost of all this is. And with Jesus, there's no false advertising. When we get Jesus, we get Jesus. Not who we want Jesus to be or what we want Jesus to do for us. When we get Jesus, not a simple, empty reassurance. Jesus promises not a quick or easy fix, but a cross. And you know and I know that Jesus' message is not about hating family or hating life. When Jesus tells us these words, he isn't prescribing us to literally do this, but to listen to God's desires, what God desires for our own lives, and not our own perceived desires. Jesus came that we might have life and have it abundantly. And Jesus' strange words are a shock to the system. A warning that this abundance is God's view of abundant living, and not our own Amazon wish list version of it. God's abundance is about reconciling broken people with one another and with God. It means bringing outcasts back to their communities. It's about parents reunited with their ailing children. This is what Jesus' ministry was about. Jesus' message is the reality that life is more than quick fixes or personal desires that we think we want to have a better life. Jesus may not be a tailored advertisement to me or to you, but he also doesn't come with buyer's remorse or a return label. Well, we won't be changing St. Timothy's mission statement anytime soon to the words from today's gospel. There is an irony in this story that St. Luke shares with us today. We may think that the next thing we should read in the gospel story after this one is an account that after Jesus' fiery sermon, the crowds on the way to Jerusalem got smaller. Perhaps Jesus' closest disciples, they went from 12 to 4. That's not what happens, is it? Those crowds, they actually grew larger. They kept following Jesus all the way to the cross. And this doesn't mean that the disciples always were right or were always unwavering in their commitment. They had their doubts, they had their fears, just like us. Perhaps those crowds followed because they quickly learned that when they followed Jesus, they actually learned how to love their parents, children, brothers, sisters, neighbors, and selves more deeply than ever before. By first loving the incarnation of God in Jesus Christ. So here we are. Something has called us here. And it calls us back to this place. To give up what the advertisers think we need and to take up the life and commitment Jesus is calling us to. It most assuredly means living the love of Christ, which most assuredly frees us to love the world.